What is up, everybody? It is Tony Tix Until here, Window Sports. It's been a while, man. It's been a minute. Sorry for some technical difficulties, but sometimes things just don't work out the way you want them to work out. Tons of information to go. It's been a frenzy, right? It's been a firestorm. Everybody used the word frenzy, but let's use the word firestorm. Okay, because that's exactly what it's been today, and it's been going on. It's still going on right now. Again, make sure you get over to windailysports.com. We got so many prime offers right now, but most importantly, $1. $1. Saying this all the time. Said on serious nights like $1. Last night you made $100 for $1. Okay, so make sure you get that link in the description. If you're watching on YouTube right now, just go in the description. You'll see the link right there to get your first week for $1. You'll also see the 4 offers for North Carolina. If you're watching from North Kakalaki, if it's horseman country, okay, because I'm a Ric Flair guy, I'm a horseman guy, I'm a wrestling guy. So I'm Flair country, right? Flair country, North Kakalaki. So right there, you're talking about 4 different instant offers right now you want to get your hands on. But listen, we have to get right into everything. Okay, you see, listen, I'm not going to lie. Okay, I'm a Philly guy. You guys all know me. You know I'm a Philly guy. So you know I was happier than hell when we hear about this Saquon Barkley news. Now, I need to talk about this, okay, because we're going to get into it all. We're going to get into Kirk Cousins. I want to know who his agent is because that dude's getting $180 million guaranteed off an ACL injury at 35 plus years of age. Are you kidding me? I need to get that agent. So if Jace is listening right now, I need that agent for me because I don't know what the hell that agent's doing, but he's doing one hell of a job. I can tell you that right now. But Saquon Barkley, okay, the news drops. Instantly, it just sounds, it's shockwaves through the entire Twitter line, right? And because, listen, right there, I mean, when you see this come out right away, whether you're a New York guy, whether you're a Philly guy, whether you're an NFL guy, it really doesn't matter. It's making you think. It's making you think. And you're saying, well, this guy, not only is he changing uniforms, but he's going right down the turnpike to one of your formidable foes for your NFC East rival, the Philadelphia Eagles. And I might add, because I am a Philly guy, unheard of out of the philosophy of Howie Roseman. Now, what I want to say is, what we're going to do on this show is let's look at the futures. Let's look at the betting odds. And again, all the wins aren't there, the win totals aren't there, but we can look at divisions. Okay. We go right to divisions and look at what those odds are going to be. Okay. Because that's the most important thing because we want to talk about some betting odds. And I think it's very interesting. Okay. I think it's very interesting because now the Philadelphia Eagles, guess what, are the favorite at plus 120. Dallas Cowboys at plus 135. We haven't heard anything out of Dallas right now. Nothing out of Dallas. But does this move, what I want to know is, does this move completely signify it's going to work, right? Does this move instantaneously say championship? I don't think it does, but I think people are getting a little ridiculous when they start talking about the Heat. Now, all of a sudden, the guy's got multiple injuries. The guy's damaged goods. Listen, you want to talk about Philadelphia people being wrong. How about these morons on Twitter from the New York Giants that are peeing on Saquon Barkley jerseys? Like, number one, dude, what does that do? I always want, like, to make you feel good because you probably dropped about $100 on the jersey. So I guess it makes you feel good. So if you want to pee on something for $100, just let me know. I'll send you something. You can send me the $100 and I'll pee all over it all day long. Maybe I'll get a couple customers, make a couple $100. Who knows? But the funny thing is, everybody, whenever a guy like this changes uniforms, everybody starts to think about what can we find out now? What can we find? Because originally it was like, well, we need to have Saquon. And then as soon as he goes, now it's all about, you know what? That's okay. We'll take Devin Singletary now. It's better. Now all of a sudden the logic is, Philadelphia's getting damaged goods. Listen, I just want to say something. If the Philadelphia Eagles are going this route, they see something, they see potential, and they're going all in. They're going all in. I mean, it's obvious, right? But let's dive into it a little bit. He's going to make $12.5 million this year. Not really turning the needle, not really taking you and handcuffing you as a franchise. So I don't think people understand how this works. I know I do. Okay. And I'm sure a lot of you listeners probably do. But I want to know, like, does it move the needle enough for you as a betting man? Say, you know what? Right now, Philadelphia Eagles are plus 750 to win the NFC. Plus 750. And you look at some of these teams and that have made this, made some strides, right? A couple teams have made some strides today. Not just a couple, but I'm talking about in the NFC East itself, in the NFC itself, I should say, because now we're looking at the conference. And when you look at this conference, you have to look at it and with open eyes. And you have to say to yourself, there's some value here. There is some value here. Again, WinDailySports.com. If you're following along, make sure you're following the Twitter page. Make sure you're liking, subscribing to the show, and subscribing to the YouTube channel. And if you want to get the offer right now for $1, literally we're giving you everything we have for $1 for a week. For a week. And I'm telling you right now, go back if you have Sirius Satellite Radio. Okay, you listen Friday night, you listen Saturday night. Not only did you make your dollar back, okay, but you made the next 6 to 12 months back. Okay, with 4 guys who gave you at least 2 bets that hit each. And the funny thing is, here's a good thing that I like to say: we're not just betting analysts; we actually know the game. Okay, I'm saying that, and again, this is the way I talk. This is who I am. Not everybody's a betting analyst that knows the game. People just go by analytics and numbers, and I'm not saying that's wrong. But the cool part about it is when you have guys that actually know the game, can break down the game, can talk about the game educationally, intelligently, and not even talk about the numbers first, just talking about the information. And what happens, that's when you know you're at the right place. And last night, me and Dave Gleckner sat there on the show from 7 to 9, and we broke down 2 specific players. Number one, we talked about Russell Wilson before it was mentioned that he was signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And both of us, perfect spot was Pittsburgh. Right away when I asked Dave, where's he go? It's got to be Pittsburgh, man. That's the perfect spot. We broke down why. Go back and listen. And that's what I'm saying. We broke down why because, see, here's the thing. People can pop off and just throw out predictions. They can throw out what they think, but they don't always know why. And we pride ourselves on knowing why. And one of the reasons why was because they're a team, like we've said, that doesn't have to go deep all the time. This is a perfect scenario for Russell Wilson. Because number one, you have a double back system that continues to strive. None of them are bell cows, but they're going to run the ball. You have a guy in Deontay Johnson who's not always going to stretch the field, right? Not always going to stretch the field, but perfect receiver for Russell Wilson. Remember the name Doug Baldwin? Doug Baldwin made a hell of a name with Russell Wilson. And Doug Baldwin was not a speedster. Pat Freiermuth, hell of a tight end that really can't run. Guess what? Doesn't matter. Now you have Russ cooking with the 5-6 yard slants. Now you have with the 5-6 yard posts, the 5-6 yards out. That's what Russ does right now. He leads. Okay, he leads. And listen, I know everybody's going to say, well, what about George? I get it. What about Mr. Pickens? Mr. Pickens is going to feast, man. I'll tell you that right now. Mr. Pickens is going to feast. You know why? Here's, again, I'm going to give you a little nugget, a little tidbit, and tell me if I'm wrong. Listen, here's the best part, okay? If I'm wrong, tell me why. Because I'm not going to say that you're not right, but I'd like to have an intelligent conversation, okay? I'd like to have an intelligent conversation. Because we're talking about the NFL on the grandest scheme of all. This is NFL free agency. This is supposedly the legal tampering period, right? Which I think the NFL did a hell of a job with that. They knew it was going on anyway. You say, what the hell, man? What the hell? Let's just throw it in there. We know they're doing it. And what do we get? We get 4 days of absolute insanity that only bumps out ratings. Number one, for us. Number two, for our partners. And number three, for our sponsors. Listen. There's a reason why the NFL is king. There's a reason why the NFL is king. And that is one of the reasons why they are friggin' king. Okay. So looking at George Pickens, let's get back to this for a second. Let's think about what George Pickens does very well. Two things: jumps up and gets the ball. When you have a leaper, where you have an acrobatic receiver that jumps up and gets the ball, what happens? They score. Can I explain to you to go back last year in Denver? Who was the most productive receiver on the Denver Broncos? That was Mr. Courtland Sutton. Why was Courtland Sutton the most productive receiver on the Broncos? Because he could go up and get the ball. Was he a speedster? Absolutely not. The speedster was Jerry Jeudy. That's why Jerry Jeudy didn't have a great year. Because, again, Ross isn't going to throw the ball deep to speedsters because he doesn't have the arm anymore. But he can throw the ball up. He can throw the ball in the red zone. He can throw the ball up and go up and get it. And guess what? Guess who's a yak guy? George Pickens. How many times did George Pickens take a ball from Kenny friggin' Pickett and take it 40, 50 yards and get in the end zone? You think that's not going to happen with Russ? Man, that is the perfect landing spot for Russell Wilson. Not to mention 1 point, what, 1.3, 1 point, who the hell cares? He's getting $1 million friggin' dollars to be the quarterback because $38 million is getting paid by those moronic Denver Broncos who brought him in and let him go anyway. It's so crazy the way this is going. That's why I say it's a friggin' firestorm, man. It's a firestorm. So we talked about that last night. And what happens? 3 hours later, boom, the news comes out. Guess who's signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers? It is Russ. And then the second one, and this is for all my Philly peeps out there, and I'll be going live later on Heat Ratio Sports, talking specifically on Philadelphia. Okay, so you want to check us out, get involved in that conversation as well, because it's all going to be Philadelphia. But when people said, where does Saquon go? And I specifically said, he's going to the Birds. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And hear me out for a second. This by no means is to say, hey, I'm going to pat myself on the back. Okay? This by no means is to say, I'm Mike Lombardi. I'm not saying any of that. Okay? But what I'm saying is, again, let's get back to what I just said about, 8 minutes ago? It's not only are we betting analysts, but we're sports educational reporters, okay? Or hosts, whatever you want to call us. But we have an education. We have an intelligence of the game. And the first thing I said was, this is the year that you see Howie Roseman flip the script. Why, you may ask? Because you have a guy that comes in Kellen Moore who says, I want what I want. You have a guy in Vic Fangio who comes in and says, I want what I want. Okay? And at the end of the day, just let's just remember that the Philadelphia Eagles at one time had one of the most electrifying running backs in all of NFL. That's a little play on The Rock. If you don't know The Rock, you're sleeping under a rock, okay? Because The Rock is one of my guys. Because I am a WWE guy. WrestleMania season, baby. Man, God damn it, I wish we could bet on WrestleMania. But anyway, that's another topic for another day, okay? But again, we had LaShawn McCoy, a bell cow, an absolute stud. And so for some reason, Chip Kelly decided, let's trade him for Kiko Alonso, right? Hey, listen, I never claimed Chip Kelly to be the brightest tool in the shed when it comes to making financial decisions. But I did say he could run a freaking offense better than anybody out there, in that spectrum. And that's what he did. Okay, his downfall was when he decided to be a GM and his ego was probably this big and he couldn't even fit through the doorway at the NovaCare Center and he was making some ridiculous moves that made absolutely zero sense. But anyway, if you look at that and you look at the landscape of this team and you understand that Jason Kelce retires, best center in football, you understand that Jalen Hurts struggled a little bit last year. I'm not going to lie, struggled a little bit last year. They have a terrible year, struggled a little bit last year. Okay, what's the best tool in the shed that you can use? It's a running back. Hand the ball off. They did not get Saquon Barkley, okay, to get the ball 30 times, but they didn't get Saquon Barkley to get the ball 10 times. See, they're very smart. Yeah, you have to understand the methodology of the team that is in on these players, okay? And when you look at Saquon and you understand he does three things, okay? He does three things. He catches the ball, He runs the ball. And most importantly, people friggin' listen to this. Okay. This is when you understand he is one hell of a pass protector. So, what better way to think about this? This is the way this works. I'm telling you exactly the way this works. What better way to protect your quarterback when your Hall of Fame center, best center in football, retires? What is the pivot? What's the pivot? Get a pass blocker or get a running back that can pass protect. That could save my $250 million quarterback. Oh, and by the way, one of the best running backs in football when he's not pass blocking, when he's not pass protecting, when he's not chipping the guy off the edge. Let's remember, okay? Let's remember. The New York Giants went out and made a bold move, trading for Brian Burns. Man, that contract, what is it, $86 million? Guaranteed $180. I mean, it is. I think they stole him. Okay, but they stole him to open up their pocketbook, right? They stole him to open up their pocketbook. But again, here's a guy that's going to be coming off the edge for the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, against the Philadelphia Eagles at least twice in a year. We have to worry about that. We have a guy named Micah Parsons, right? That has to come off the edge twice a year. So that's 4 times that you need at least a chip block. That's 4 times you at least need somebody there that you can trust. So all the blocks were building up to this move. And I talked about it on the show, man. I was like, he is signing with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, people said I was crazy. I was nuts. Not the first time. Not the first time I get called nuts. I'm always called nuts. The reason why I got the name Jigsaw, man. I always get called nuts, right? But again, it just made sense. It made sense. And that's what's most important. When a move makes sense, okay? When a move makes sense, that's what you want to do. You want to look at it and say, you know what? You know what? Yes, this makes complete sense. Okay? And that's how not only do you win your bets, but that's how you actually plan them out. Oh, and by the way, we're going to build an SGP for that Portland game later on. Okay? 10:40 tip, I think 10:38. So before we go, because I want to treat this just like we do on Sirius, where we break down these moves, we talk a little NFL, we talk a little whatever is number one on the map. We're going to do this a little more often, but more importantly, let's look at the betting numbers as well. Let's look at what we're talking about from a future and odds perspective on how these moves, do they move the needle? Okay, do they move the needle? That's what we want to know. And I think this move for me, it moves the needle so much, man, so much. And I think again that we're looking at, a move, okay, a move that can really, really help the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, let's get to a different move, okay? Same position now, same position. Let's get a different move, and we look at the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers. So we're talking about the Green Bay Packers, and I'll tell you what, man, they did Aaron Jones dirty. Okay, can I say that? They did Aaron Jones dirty. I don't care what anybody says, that the Green Bay Packers did Aaron Jones dirty. Whether you like the guy or not, they absolutely did him dirty, okay? So you see, Packers assigned Josh Jacobs. Guess what? They signed Josh Jacobs before they even released Aaron Jones. Like, you mean to tell me if you're Aaron Jones, you're not already knowing you're getting cut? I mean, why not cut Aaron Jones first? Why not release Aaron Jones first and then sign Josh Jacobs? Why not? And then they go out and they get Xavier McKinney, the safety that we wanted here in Philadelphia. Again, the Giants got just gutted, but then they make that big move for Brian Burns. Josh Jacobs, I'm not a Jacobs guy, but I will tell you this. I'm very interested to see how it works. Because let's remember, the A.J. Dillon experiment did not work in Green Bay because that's not the kind of offense they had. Aaron Jones was the perfect guy for that offense, right? That was the perfect guy for that offense. So I don't understand. I don't understand why you signed Josh Jacobs and you let a guy like Aaron Jones go. Now, Aaron Jones signed a 4-year, I think it was like $48 million deal a couple years ago, right? So his guaranteed money was up. But I don't know, man. Somebody help me, okay? Cowboys Nation says, Green Bay is going to be a problem. I'm curious, why? Why are they going to to me, explain to me. And again, I'm asking you because now you say Cowboys Nation. So I don't know if you're a Cowboy fan or you're a Green Bay fan or you're just, I'm going to guess you're a Cowboys fan and you're mentioning Green Bay as one of those teams looking at this, Josh Jacobs signing. But why would you think that Josh Jacobs is better suited for this offense than Aaron Jones? That's what I don't understand, because Jordan Love likes to move around. Jordan Love likes to throw the ball downfield, and he loved to throw the ball to Aaron Jones. And when I look at this and I say, wait a minute, like is Josh Jacobs all of a sudden the pass catching back that we think he is? Like, I don't get it. I don't get the move. And again, I'm asking, I just don't get the move. I would, maybe they say that they weren't happy with Aaron Jones being shelved every now and then, right? He did have some issues, on the injury bug. But again, though, man, when he came back, listen, he's one of the best running backs in the game from a speed perspective. I really feel that, man. He's really, really good. Ed says it's essentially the same for Green Bay with Jacobs. Cowboys, they says talent, and they're tightening up their weaknesses. Now, the defense, yes. 100% agree. 100% agree about the defense. They needed McKinney. I think that is a hell of a move for them. They already had a very underrated secondary, in my opinion. But safety is where they were really flawed. And now you add McKinney. I can see why they wanted him. I think that's a brilliant move. That's a brilliant move. And okay, at least you're with me. It makes I just don't understand. I don't understand the move, but no, I don't want you to have Aaron Jones in Dallas. No way. Tony Pollard's gone. I don't, Tony Pollard goes to Tennessee. Very, very interesting. But I think, so everybody realizes, I think with Tennessee, let's talk about the Tony Pollard move. And again, if you're just tuning in right now, it's WinDailySports.com. Tony Jigsaw Consillo right here talking about, number one, everything that's going on. Everything's going on in free agency. I want to talk about what it's doing for the odds movement. I also want to talk about, listen, $1 promo right now. If you're not a WinDailySports.com member, make sure you can get the time to get in, man. It's a $1. Not going to last forever. Countdown to Augusta. We had a lot of golf with the players. You got Augusta coming up. There's so much coming up, from March Madness, you name it. This is the time you want to get in, man. $1 for an entire week. And I can tell you that listen, I am 90%. I'll give you 95%. Guarantee that if you sign up for $1, now actually no, 100 freaking percent, 100% that if you sign up for $1, you're going to get that dollar back. I know you laugh and chuckle, but it is true, right? How many people can guarantee it? Anything in this world? But I can guarantee you're going to get that dollar back within that week. You're going to get the dollar back within a week. Now, you can't just bet once, but if you bet a couple times, say you bet 3 or 4 times, you're going to get that dollar back. And probably times it by about 20 if you just bet $1. Right? And here's the best part. Not only do you get the dollar for a week, but you also get the insight on how you actually utilize a lot of these bets. I will be your personal concierge, man. You let me know. I'll give you the links. I'll walk you through it. You want to hop on a Zoom with me? Boom. If you're unsure, I don't care. Hop on, man. Hop on. I'll tell you how to get the SGP parlay insurance. I'll tell you how to get the bonus bets, because there is a system to it, and you're going to do yourself wrong if you don't do it. So let's get back to free agency. Now, Ed says losing Runyon hurts in Green Bay. It does. It really does. I was actually surprised. That they allow Runyon to go. I get it. You have to look at money. You have to. I understand, but that to me, that was, oh man, that's tough. Offensive linemen just don't grow on trees, right? I have to laugh, man. I gotta bring this up. Let me share my screen. You guys are gonna like this. Okay, you guys are gonna like this. This is funny. So, what I love about this is, as I scroll through and I'm trying to figure out, I want to see what's going on. This is the first thing I see. Look at this. The Dallas Cowboys are going crazy, signing nobody. I mean, right there. Okay, right there is pretty funny to me. Okay, because again, right? Who are they signing? They're like, yo, Jerry, what are you doing? Are you loading up on Dak Prescott? Are are you loading up now? I think the common theme is going to be Derrick Henry. Again, I would think, and again, while we're doing the show, this could be, and Derrick Henry could have signed somewhere. Okay, but no, not that I know of. I don't think he's signed anywhere yet. And again, I think that looking at Derrick Henry, I think this is a perfect landing spot for him. I really do. I think it would be obviously their kind of deal. Now here we go. 2 hours. Here's another good one. Oh man, it's a good one. It's a guy that the Eagles are looking at too. Texans are expected to sign Titans linebacker Al Shaher to a 3-year, $34 million deal. Now they just signed a corner. Who did they sign? 1-year deal from he was the former first round pick from Detroit. Jeff, I'll get the name for you in a minute, but because there's been so many names across the board, I think it was a great move. I think it was a great move. 1-year deal, Jeff Akota. I think again I'm drawing a blank, but I think when you look at it, a lot of these 1 or 2 years deals are pretty interesting. Burns signs a 5-year, $150 million deal with the Giants. Now they trade a second, and I think it was 2/5. That's a steal, man. For Brian Burns, that's a steal. Brian Burns is probably a top 5, top 3 defensive end, defensive pass specialist, defensive whatever you want to call him. That's who he is. He's the real deal, and just shows you again with the Carolina Panthers, a team again that is cap strapped, doesn't know what to do with their money. They don't know how to work their money, right? That's the problem when this happens. You look at this, you're like, oh shit, like you spent all this money everywhere else, and guess what? At the end of the day, you got nothing. You got nothing. You got to cut people. So I know Jeremy Chinn's been floating around. I would like Jeremy Chinn. I think he's still got a great couple years of prime. I mean, he's very young. Again, he's only in his 20s, right? 24, 25. Buffalo brings back AJ Epinesa for a 2-year deal. Their linebacker, really good. Defensive end. He's one of those defensive end / linebackers, pass rushing specialists. They signed their big Dion Dawkins, their big offensive lineman, which again, when you're an offensive lineman, you have to be, you have to be held, man. You have to be re-signed unless you have injuries. If you have any of that, that's the only reason why I would think that you would not be back. So there's been more and more and more moves than I think ever on the first day. I really do. I think it's been unbelievable with the amount of moves that we're getting. And how bad, I got to say this, man. There's 2 guys that really stole some money today, man. Number one, the Raiders signed Gardner Minshew. $25 million, 2 years, $25 million. Okuda, that's it. That's it. Jeff Okuda. I'm sorry. Thank you, Jeff Okuda. Great. Listen, 1-year deal, has all the skills in the world, man. Just got to stay healthy. If you can do that, that's a great move out there for D'Amico Ryans at Houston. I really do. I like moves like that because I think that shows, number one, D'Amico's a defensive guy. It just kind of shows what he's thinking. But how does Gardner Minshew get 2 years of $25 million? I just showed you how the Raiders are such a shit show. They are. They're such a shit show. I don't understand. There's teams in the NFL, they're just never going to win. They're never going to win. And the Raiders are one of them. Now, here's another guy that, again, stepped in it, man. My man, Kirk. And you guys heard me. I am not a Kirk Cousins guy at all. But go get yours, Kirk. Go get yours. $180 million guaranteed. Are you kidding me? This guy comes off an ACL injury, and they're going to give him all the money. Again, back the Brinks truck up. Back it up. Who is his agent? I don't know who's gotten better deals. Okay? Now, I will say, the only good thing I can say about Kirk is he's not stealing the money, right? He's not pulling a Ben Simmons or a Chase Daniel. Chase Daniel, man. Like honestly, Chase Daniel should be arrested for grand larceny. Okay. That dude was getting $10 million backup deals for years. And all he did was hold a clipboard and come in garbage time and do a couple fake huts, and he went back on. Number one, I don't even know how he got on the field. I'm like 5'6". I think I'm taller than him. Okay, it's just crazy. So when you talk about Chase Daniel, that's a dude who should be arrested for the amount of money he made. Ben Simmons should be arrested, okay, for pretending to be an NBA player and actually getting a paycheck, which is ridiculous. But Kirk Cousins, listen, man, I don't like Kirk. It's all good. But get your money, Kirk. It's all like, honestly, get your money. It's fine. And Atlanta, man, I mean, they got themselves a quarterback. I get it, but is it the right guy? Is it the right guy? You know, they won Lamar last year. They want to pay up, make the Lamar stuff interesting, but they rather have Kirk Cousins, huh? Very, very, very interesting. I wonder if Raheem Morris is out there shaking his head or not. I mean, listen, he may be like, look, I could do something with Kirk Cousins. And we haven't even talked about people that have been extended, right? We haven't even talked about like Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, Michael Pittman Jr., Landon Dickerson with the Philadelphia Eagles. Guys have been extended. That they're huge money deals too that we haven't even talked about. Huge money deals that we haven't even talked about. Landon Dickerson, let's say this. Landon Dickerson is a guy, these are the stories that I love. And I only know this because I'm in Philadelphia and I cover the team. And you watch him, and he's a very, very humble kid, a Southern boy. Yeah, he's the guy who says hi. He's the guy who says, how are you doing? Good morning, good afternoon. And he wonders why we were in a social funk. Like there was literally a TikTok video of him in training camp walking out every day saying, hello, good morning, and nobody would even talk to him. And he's thinking, man, nobody talks anymore, right? So he's unfortunately seeing the bad side effects of social media. But this is a kid who was told he may not ever play a full season. He had multiple knee injuries, multiple leg injuries, but he was also 320-something pounds doing, back hand flips and handsprings and one of the most agile big men you'll have ever seen. And all he's done is been an absolute stud for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I love it. I love stories like this. I love seeing it. I love seeing people really genuinely buy in and succeed. I know we're talking about money right now, but stories like that, to see this kid, I think it was his 1-year anniversary, so he's popping champagne. I mean, good for him, man. That's a good story. Right? That's a good story. And listen, yeah, I think Kirk Cousins is Mr. Sharman. I think he's the softest player in the NFL. I'm not a big Kirk guy. As soon as you threw that Run DMC chain on and the glass, I was like, bro, throw him off the plane. Like, there's no, you should not at any time, Kirk, be putting on a Run DMC chain. Just throwing it out there. But to know that he's 35 years old plus, coming off an ACL injury and still able to get $150 to $180 million to play the quarterback position. Listen, man, I got nothing but respect for him in that perspective. Go get your money, Kirk. Go get your money. Now let's look at this. I'm going to share the screen a little bit, okay? Because I want to get in this before we're going to build an SGP in about 5 minutes. But before we do that for NBA, because I think it's a great conversation, but I don't want to go all night. I want to pop in, pop out, right? Let's get the fire brewing a little bit. But let's look at these odds right now, right on DraftKings, and talk about, have they changed? Have they moved? What looks good to you based on some of these moves? Now, if you just go to now again, you can't go to wins. There's not many, right? There's only a few. So we're not even gonna look at that. We're gonna go look at division, right? NFC East. We talked about it. Plus 120 for the Eagles, plus 135 for the Cowboys. Obviously, we all know the Commanders and the Giants just are not it. Okay, it's a two-legged race. Who is it going to be, the Eagles and the Cowboys? And I think, obviously, it's 100% the Eagles. Now, again, there could be a little value on the Cowboys at plus 135 because, number one, we just don't know. This is on paper, right? We've seen this before in Philadelphia and in other places. On paper, everything looks great. But guess what? When you actually got to play the game, it doesn't work out. So the value could be on the Cowboys, right? The value could definitely be on the Cowboys at plus 135. Now, C is he's a Commanders guy, right? My man C checking this. Commanders definitely winning the Super Bowl, or only maybe winning the Super Bowl. Now that's a percentage bet I'm not willing to make. Now I guaranteed your dollar back, C, for signing up to Win Daily right now. I guaranteed you, at least if you bet $1, you will get $1 back if you put multiple bets down within the week. But I am not willing to guarantee anything when it talks about the Commanders. Okay. We're not doing that at all. No biased opinion there, huh? No, listen, Cowboys Nation, no, not at all. Like, not at all. Honestly, like, just looking at it, I think you have to go with the Eagles. But, like I said, the value is going to be, in my opinion, with the Cowboys. It's not a lot of value. Plus 135 is not a ton of value. Okay. But looking at it compared to the Eagles, that would be the only team I think. Now, listen, if you want to get crazy, like Sia here, it sounds like a maybe. Sia says Tony on the Commanders trade's official. Maybe Sia wants to throw some shekels on the Commanders, right? Like Ed says, they did get Austin Eckler, who was running on fumes last year, and showed that, man, he was spent. So as long as you don't use him more than 10 times a game, Sia, don't use Eckler more than 10 times a game. Maybe you'll be okay. My man, Rat Pack says, we're going to build that SGP in about 3 minutes. Man, at the 40-minute mark, we'll swing over to NBA for the final 5 minutes, and listen, we'll go through an SGP. We'll go through it, and we'll figure out what are we looking at. We'll bring up the projection model for Win Daily, see what Win Daily's looking at, and listen, we'll build it from there. We'll build it right from the projection model if you want. That's fine. Just to see what it says, man. Just see what it says, and listen, let's see what happens, right? Let's see what happens. Now, when we go to the NFC North, I think it gets a little interesting, right? It gets a little interesting. We still don't know what's going on in Chicago. So that Justin Fields thing is just crazy to me. I mean, now that we're hearing it, he could be a backup. Like, I'm sorry, man, but this dude's getting done dirty. I am so, like, we really have to take heed of, having a little bit of patience, right, with young quarterbacks. We really do. I've been through a lot in Philadelphia, and a lot of people have been through a lot when it comes to the young quarterback. But I'll tell you what, when you have a kid who's got a ton of talent and he doesn't produce, sometimes you got to look at the coaching too. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, sometimes you got to look at the coaching. Sometimes the coaching may not be good enough either. So what's going on with him is a little crazy to me. I'm really, really surprised. It's a little crazy to me. So, looking at this, I think the Packers are in the driver's seat with the value. Okay. Obviously, everybody's the favorites to beat Detroit, but I think there's a lot of value with the Green Bay Packers at plus 225. I saw a lot from Jordan Love. I don't care what anybody says about that interception in the end. Throw that in the garbage. It doesn't freaking matter. Okay. That was just whether it's a bad reaction, he got hit. No excuses. Okay. But all I know is up to that point, that young man super exceeded expectations. Not only mine, but a lot of people. And Green Bay, except for this move they did with Josh Jacobs, I'm still not sure about that. But I do like, the future of the Green Bay Packers under Jordan Love. So I think at plus 225, I think that's a really, really good. Now, I will tell you this. Okay. And I know Jason, if he's watching, is going to love this. And if not, he'll watch later and talk about it. But I'm going to look at this NFC South right here. And I'm going to look at my Tampa Bay Baker Mayfield, Tampa Bay Buccaneers at plus 285. Now, are we sold on the Atlanta Falcons just because all of a sudden they bring in Kirk Cousins? That now all of a sudden Bijan and Drake London and Kyle Pitts. I saw Cowboys Nation say no excuses for Pitts earlier. He's right. But all of a sudden, are they all going to click? And that's my thing. I don't know, but I'm not betting based on that. Why would I take a minus 115 where I get some value at a plus 285 on a team that is bringing back a healthy Chris Godwin, is bringing back a trendsetter on a new 2-year extension with Mike Evans, is bringing back a guy in Baker Mayfield who showed he's a true winner, okay? And Todd Bowles also showed he's one hell of a coach. Temple made, by the way, Philly's finest, got to add that in there, Mr. Todd Bowles, okay, a plus 285. I think that is the value right there in the entire NFC. If we and we'll come back. We'll do tomorrow. We'll do the AFC. We'll do day 2 of free agency. But NFC West, there's no value in my opinion. It's the Niners all day, and I'm not putting a bet on minus 195. Not doing it. But what I will say is at plus 285, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the value in the NFC to win their division. Simple as that. They are the value to win their division. So let's talk about an SGP. Okay, let's talk about an SGP. So again, I want to let everybody know this is the way I do things. Okay, and my man Albert knows. Okay, Rat Pack and Discord, he knows how we do this. Okay, he knows how we do this. Okay, first thing I like to do is look at the matchup. Okay, now we got Boston and we have Portland. And, looking at that, don't forget Trey Pot. Yeah, exciting. I know. Listen, man, I'm telling you, everything is exciting in my opinion right now. But I think that is, man, I think that's the value. I hope I'm right, man. I do. I hope I am right because I think you can cash in on that Tampa Bay. It's early. Okay. It's early, but that's okay. I think you can cash in. I do. I think you can absolutely cash in because, when you look at it, you got to look at some of those numbers. You got to look at some of those numbers, and they just, they scream to you. They scream to you. Now, let's get to the Boston and Portland game. Obviously, we got Drew Holiday out. We got Porzingis out. So, we're obviously going to look at who's going to take over. Right, from a scoring perspective from the Boston Celtics. Listen, the Boston Celtics are the best team in the NBA, in my opinion. I'm going to get a lot of pushback from that. That's okay. And again, please understand how hard it is for me to say, because I am a Philly guy, and our arch nemesis is the Boston Celtics. Okay, so that's not easy for me to say. Okay, it's not easy for me to say. Okay, but that's why they're giving up 11 to Portland. Okay, so if we're looking at just we're looking at Boston right now, just Boston. You got Tatum, Brown, Derek White, Al Horford, and you got Pritchard starting. Okay, you have no Holiday, you have no Porzingis. This is going to be an interesting game because you really have to think about your bets wisely here. Because if it is a running gun game to where they just go out to a far lead and then you have a bunch of stiffs, thrown in, that's kind of the way it could be, man. That's kind of the way it could be. So, you really have to put that perspective. Could a guy like Luke Cornett at the center position get another 20 minutes? Right? You really have to look at that. That's a guy maybe you want to look at. Right? That's a guy maybe you want to look at. But again, see, here's what you have to look at too when you're placing these STPs is, guess what? They're not going to list certain guys that are advantageous to you, right? So just looking at a points perspective, you may have to go to the alt line just to get those guys. And again, not even there, man. Not even there. That's the crazy thing. Not even there. So let's just look at the points real fast and see if there's anything that jumps off the map to us. Again, I am just looking at the Boston perspective right now. And one guy I want to look at who I love his story coming from the G League. People don't know I do cover the Blue Coats, do a great podcast with my man Joe Richmond, the ambassador of basketball operations for the Delaware Blue Coats. So learning these G League players and learning the drive that they go through and understanding the way they really have to build their game and their confidence. Derek White is one of those guys. I mean, he came out and said, listen, I would not be here if it wasn't for the G League. I would not be here if it wasn't for the G League. So I think that's very, very, very important. Now, Derek White he's been one of those guys who can let you down, okay, or he can really build you up. But the one thing I like to look at is I look at their steady minutes production. Now, over the last 3 games, he's averaging at least 35 minutes. That's max minutes for me. So I know 100%, especially with Drew Holiday out, we know that we're going to get a lot of Derek White tonight, unless there's a big blowout. Okay, so even let's give a 5-minute ceiling and say we're at least going to get 30 minutes. That's how I'll do things too. So then I'll go to his matchups and say, when was the last time he played 30 minutes? He played 30 minutes against Philly. He played 32 minutes against Dallas, 32 minutes against the Knicks, 33 minutes against Chicago. So I think that's kind of like our ceiling for this game because Portland just stinks. Okay, it's simple as that. They stink. Okay, so I think he gets double-digit points, but I don't think we can expect something like 15 or higher. Okay, so let me look, and I'm just saying this blindly. So he's over 14 and a half. Now I don't like that number. I'm gonna say I don't like. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go to the combo market. Okay, I'm gonna go to the combo market, and I'm gonna look at where can I get the combo for Derek White Jr. What does he do? That's where do I want the PRA? Or do I want to just go points and rebounds? Or because there is no Drew Holiday, will he be dishing the ball a lot more tonight? Right. So, and that's something to look at. Will he be dishing the ball a lot more tonight? I mean, it's a guy over the late. I mean, listen, 8'8", 7'6", 9. He has been a dime machine. Okay. Even when he's only played 20 minutes against Golden State, he had 8 assists. That shows me I really, really like the assists. His rebounds are all over the place. I am not touching them. Okay. So I'm going to go down. Let's look at his points plus assist number. His points plus assists is over 20 and a half. Okay. Over 20 and a half. Now, I'm going to look at it. You look at the last few games, he hasn't hit it. He hasn't hit it. 19, 13, 10. He hasn't hit it since the 30. He hit 22, but he did it in 20 minutes. Interesting. Against this team, I don't know. Can we pull it? Can we pull the trigger? I'm gonna throw him in there right now. I am. I'm gonna look at it because what we're gonna do is real fast. I'm gonna throw him in there. Now I'll use the model for a couple of these picks. So I don't bore you to death here. But I'll throw him in there just to see what what it builds up on the right side. I'm gonna go down to the alt line now and see if maybe we can get a nice alt line for points and assists that may be a little lower with a lot less. Now, here's what I'm going to, this is what I like to do. And then people say I'm crazy, but that's okay. Everybody bets their own specific way. I'm going to take out the 20 and a half, and I'm going to go with the juiced up 18 plus. Okay. Don't worry about the minus 250 again, because we're going to build 4 legs here. Okay. We're going to build 4 legs here. So I like this number. That gives me a little bit more of comfort level here. Okay. A little more comfort level knowing that I can sit here and say, okay, you know what? I feel comfortable. He's at least hit this number with consistency. And even in a blowout, I think it's very attainable. Okay. So let's start off with that. Okay. Let's start off with that. Now, Cowboys Nations, I like it. Cowboys Nation said, let's look at Tatum's rebounds and assists. Let's look at that. This is why let's get some interaction here. Okay. Rebounds and assists for Mr. Tatum. Wow. Is where we at here? Over 13 and a half. Over 13. That's a good number. I like that number. Let's look at that. Over 13 and a half rebounds and assists. Man, he's been killing that number. 15, 17. All right, he had 12, but oh man, listen. Let me look. Even in actually, when he's played under 30 minutes, he still hit it. 15, 9. Oh, okay. Okay. You know what? You sold me. I like the combo. So let's throw it in there. I like that. I like the Jason Tatum. I like that. I like that a lot. Oh, look, it's not gonna let us parlay that, really. Because it's an alt. It's an alt line, right? It's an alt line. Let's throw the let's start off with the Tatum first. We might not be able to take the alt line. Let's go right into the parlay and see if they offer it to us here. Because that's the thing too. You got to be really, really careful when you do these and see if they offer it in. And this is on DraftKings, obviously. Let's see what the alt line is for Derek White points plus assists. Say it's 20 and a half. Let's see if they give you an alt right here. Yeah, we have it. I guess it's got to be in. Sometimes it's quirky, right? Sometimes it's quirky. Now let's look at the points plus assists for Jason Tatum. And right here, That's points plus assists. We want rebounds and assists. See, that's why we can't get the rebounds and assists. Sometimes that happens, right? So then you have to pivot. It's like, do you want like what's his all points and rebounds? Right. Let's look at his alt points and rebounds because he's going to get the points, right? And I say his ceiling for points tonight's 25 based on the blowout option, right? So if he gives me his average, which is about 7 rebounds a game, and he gets 25, that's 32. And right now we can get let me just throw the 30 in there for right now. It's really juiced up. Really juiced up. But again, let's see where we go with this and see. Yeah, see, it's really juiced up. Let me take that out. And you know what? I'm feeling good. I do think that his points is 33 and a half. I don't let's say, oh man. See, this is what's tough, man. When you build these, with some of these alt lines, it's really tough. Over 30, that's high, man. Over 36 and a half is high. I can't go there. That's too high for me. 35, that's too high. That's too high. I can't do it. All right. So, you know what? Let's speed this up a little bit. Let's go with threes. Okay. I'm a big 3-pointer made guy. I like the 3-pointer made. I do like, yeah, let Japan. Let's look at that. We're going to go to Portland in a minute. Okay. I like, sometimes I like to do 2 and 2. I may go predominantly with Boston. I'm not sure, but as much as again, I like the 3-pointer made. I really do. I'm a big guy for that. If I don't have to pay a lot, okay. Jaylen Brown to me over 2.5 is the play. I'm going to be honest with you, because if you pull him up, okay, and this is how I look at the 3-pointers made. I look at attempts. Give me the volume. That's all. Just keep throwing them up. Okay. And as long as you're close to the number, I'm in. So here's a number for you. Okay. 7, 7, 7, that's 21, 31 attempts in 4 games. And he's been over the 2.5, 4 or 3 out of the last 4. Sign me up. I like that a lot. We're going to go Jaylen Brown over 2.5 3-pointers made at plus 114. Now we're at plus 176. And for Japan, let's do exactly what you said. Let's look at Anthony Simmons. Okay, let's go to Portland route because we like Simmons, and then we'll end with a model. We'll end with a model pick, okay? I want to show you guys how that works. If you want to get in it, if you're not a part of the community yet, you want to get in for that $1 deal, you can at least see what we're doing and how we do it. You like Anthony Simons. What about just rebounds over 3.5? So looking at his rebounds, you know what? Based on, here's another thing that I like to look at. Based on a Boston team that shoots a ton from the perimeter, okay, now Drew Holiday is a dasher and a driver. Okay, he's not playing tonight. Porzingis is a guy in the paint. He's not playing tonight. So you're going to get a lot of shots from the perimeter, about 20, 25, beyond the arc with Derek White, with Pritchard, with Tatum, with Brown. A lot of interesting athletic rebounds opportunities for Anthony Simons. Or Simons, whatever. I call it both ways. Yeah. It is what it is. So let's go Anthony. And I do like that because he, even when he hasn't been over that number, he's been at 3. So I like the 3.5. I do. I think you're on to something there, man. I like the 3.5. So let's look at this. But where are we at? Oh, it's going to give us an alt line. See, that's what kills me, man. Why do they do that? I hate that. Let's see if we can get them down at the all over and under, because sometimes you got to. They really. This is how they know, man. Again, if these books didn't make money, they wouldn't be a business, right? So, you can't you can't even get that number, man, in DraftKings, right? And I know we're doing a DraftKings, but maybe you have an alternate book you want to use, but you can't even get it. Let's look what his stat combo is. Let's see what we can get from a points and rebounds perspective, because I don't want to do the assists. Just points and rebounds for Simons is let's go all 18. Let's say 18 is really juiced up. So you don't want that. That's really low. 25, I think, could be the magic number. I think that could be the magic number. I like that. I like the 25. Yeah, I like the 25 with this game script and the way they're going to play. I think that's a good number. So let's go with that. Yeah, they are. They're always hating. They're always hating. My man in Japan checking in says Discord is super clutch. Only reason I yo, you cashed too. I loved it, man. I loved it. Cowboys Nation, go in the description. If you're looking for the code, go in the description in this YouTube channel. Go to Win Daily Sports YouTube, go to this stream and look in the description. I'll throw it up on the screen right now. Make sure all you need to do is follow this link. You don't even need the code. Okay, just follow this link. I'll throw it up. It's in the description too. But if you follow this link, just copy and paste this link. I'm going to put it inside here before we get to the model. I'll put it inside oh yeah, we got to pull this number. Here you go. Right here. I'll throw this in here. Right here. That if you go right to that link, Cowboys Nation, go right to that link, go right there and you get to the screen. You'll go to the dollar deal, but you have to use that link, and then the code will be dollar, DOLLAR. But you have to use that link in there to be able to put that code in. So make sure you get that. Anybody who wants that code right there, go to that reference code right there. Number one, you're helping me out. Number two, you're helping Win Daily out, right? And again, like I said, I will be your own personal concierge who will show you exactly what to do and how to get these deals on a continual basis. I'm always in Discord with my man. Rat Pack hooking up some Discord bets all the time. Ed, I'll tell you, so many, Ed. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Now let's real fast, just so you see what we're gonna get here. I'm gonna pull up the model tonight and let's see who the model likes, okay, for the late game, and see we'll add a model pick. We'll see what model pick that we really like for this late game. And let's see who. Oh man, look. So I'm gonna share this tab instead, just so everybody sees. Okay, this is our model right here. Okay, I'm showing you, man. This is our model. This is what people are paying for. This is our model. Okay, you're gonna go by. You can scroll through player like this. You could scroll through team. You can scroll through the opponent. You could scroll through pop type. You could scroll through whatever the line is. You can scroll through the edge, and the edge is what we think. Do they have a big, advantage? Are they very advantageous, right? I'm not a huge block shot guy, but again, steals and blocks, they're huge. Last night, we had Anthony Davis at, over 1.5. He had 4 in the first quarter. Like, it was insane, right? It was absolutely insane, right? So, does the one Canadian kid still do NBA? That is Ghost, right? He is our guy. He is the man behind the machine. Okay, he does all our NBA projection models and our prop model. You can follow him at Bets by Ghost. You see it right here where it says powered by at Bets by Ghost. That is the Canadian you speak of, who is hook. Yep, that's who is hooking us up, man. That's who's giving us these fantastic numbers. So let's just look at Boston real fast. And as you can see, not a lot of overs for Boston tonight. Okay, certain one, because I think that Ghost is thinking the same thing. Could be you got to be very careful. Now, this is what I like. Look, he likes Derek White tonight. Likes his points. Likes his points plus rebounds. Right. He likes his fantasy score. Right. So we're doing good right there. So we did this without the model, which is awesome. Which means we're learning together. Right. We're learning together. Now you see the assists. It's an under. I don't usually bet unders, okay? I really don't. Now, I'll tell you what I like here is I like Al Horford. As much as I can't stand Al, rebounds plus assists over 9.5, right? Over that's actually a really good number for Al. Okay, so let's look at points plus assists. Listen, he's only had one game where he's been under that. So actually 2 games. Okay, but 3 out of the last 5, he's been over. And, the game that he really was lackluster was he only played 19 minutes, but no Kristaps, no Porzingis. I think he plays a lot tonight. I think he plays a lot tonight, Al Horford. So I think that's actually a really good number. I think I like that model play right there. Go Al Horford, rebounds plus assists. I like that. But let's see what else we have. Let's go Portland. Okay. Let's go Portland. I'm going to go by team again. And just so you know, and I'm going to go right to Portland. And who does the model like for Portland? Jeremy Grant, really big on. He's big on Anthony Simons, which we have, right? Which is nice. That always makes us feel nice, warm, and gushy inside. He even likes the PRA, right? Little small edge, but that's okay. Still likes the PRA. Likes the points plus assists. Interesting. Okay. Okay. So let's look at, you know what? Let's look at Jeremy Grant. I like Jeremy Grant. He's over 17 and a half for points. So let's look. What do we have for Jeremy Grant? Over he likes that. I actually like that number a lot. I like that number a lot. Jeremy Grant, and we're gonna finish this up soon. But this is what happens when you do some bets. You got to really analyze these things, right? Yeah, I like that. I like that. We're gonna go over points. I'm just looking at the time to get it in. So yeah, Jeremy Grant, I would say there's your over plus 575 right there. Get in, you got you got 3 minutes to get that bet in. 3 minutes to get that bet in. Game time is at 10:40. So plus 575. Make sure you get that in, and let's see if we can hit some money, man. No, this has been awesome. Let's smash it. I'm gonna get out of here so I can throw my bets in again. WinDailySports.com. Make sure you're following us at WinDaily Sports on all social formats. You're hopping in the YouTube channel. I'll be back tomorrow night talking AFC futures, talking day 2 of the free agent frenzy, like we always say. And man, get in that Discord chat. If you want more codes, hook it up. And again, $1 for your first week, man. $1. So let's have some fun. Everybody have a good night, and we'll catch you.